10 anime relationships we wish worked out. Number 10 Millie Thompson and Nicholas D. Wolfwood, Trigun.
Nicholas D. Wolfwood's views on life have been totally turned upside down by his experiences traveling with Vosh, Millie, and Meryl. Formerly an assassin who would do pretty much anything that was required of him as long as the orphans in his care were safe. He's now starting to question whether violence in any form is acceptable. When he and Millie connect romantically and end up sleeping together, it seems like he's finally about to turn over a new leaf. That doesn't last long. Chapel, his former teacher and the man who now controls much of his behavior, shows up and orders him to end Vosh's life. When he refuses, the two engage in a battle that ends with Wolfwood's demise. Sure, this was one of most powerful moments in the series, but that doesn't make it any less sad that he and Millie never had a chance to really be together.
Number 9 Kazuki Kurusu and Yazuko Kurusu, buddy daddies.
If there's any proof that a happy ending can change unexpectedly, it would be this relationship. Assassin Kazuki Kurusu is originally portrayed as a bachelor who loves gambling and loves women, but as you continue to watch Buddy Daddies, you see small glimpses of his family man past. Episode 7 is when fans get a deep look into Kazuki's backstory and the initial chance he had at becoming a father with the love of his life. As it turns out, Kazuki had once been married to a woman named Yazuko, who he met while struggling for his life in a flower garden. The two eventually fell in love, got married, and were expecting their first child. However, Yazuko accidentally got caught in the middle of one of Kazuki's missions, tragically resulting in her death. Although Kazuki now has a found family he loves, it took a whole 5 years for Kazuki to forgive himself for what happened. Knowing that the anime's Resident Sunshine character has such a painful past makes this relationship just as tragic as it is heartbreaking.
Number 8 Kana Soma and Hattori Soma, Fruits Basket.
Kana and Hattori are both members of the sprawling Soma clan, though they aren't actually related. They first meet when Kana starts working in Hattori's medical office, and it isn't long before they fall in love. Hattori, a taciturn man who rarely feels happiness, feels genuine joy around Kana. He's also able to reveal his secret: he's cursed to transform into a dragon. Appearing in this case as a seahorse, whenever he has physical contact with a woman. The two of them are able to build a happy, loving relationship. That relationship fails when the head of the Soma clan, Akito, flies into a jealous rage and attacks Hattori, blinding him in the process. Kana blames herself and becomes so depressed that Hattori decides the only way to help her is to erase her memories of the relationship. She's able to forget, but Hattori keeps the memories locked inside himself. In the end, both of them end up happy with other people. Still, that doesn't make the dissolution of their relationship any less tragic.
Number 7 Cassa and Guts, Berserk.
Cassa and Guts have been through a lot. Originally, they were lovers, but that came to a halt after Griffith betrayed their mercenary band. Assaulted Cassa and forced Guts to watch, and destroyed nearly everyone else in the Band of the Hawk. Cassa was so traumatized that she could barely speak, let alone be in a relationship. Though Cassa does return to her original self in the manga, the two of them never fully reconcile their relationship. But the saddest thing is actually not the thwarted relationship itself, though that is devastating. It's the fact that we will never really know how things might have turned out for them. Their creator, Kentaro Miura, tragically passed in 2021. While Studio Gaga, the manga production studio founded by Miura himself, and Koji Mori, are continuing the story, we will never know for sure how Miura would have written it.
Number 6 Kamina and Yoko Littner, Gurren Lagann.
Kamina and Yoko start out with a mildly antagonistic relationship in which Kamina loves teasing Yoko and she's easily annoyed by him. But despite the bickering, they soon grow to trust and care for each other immensely. They reveal things to each other that they reveal to no one else, and eventually Yoko confesses her love for Kamina. Kamina promises to pay back those feelings 10 times over. Yoko isn't quite sure what he meant by that, but she never gets to find out, because Kamina passes away soon after. Most fans tend to focus on how painful Kamina's demise was for Simon, but it clearly wrecked Yoko, too. What would the series have been like if the two actually got a chance to explore their newfound love? It's sad that we don't get to find out.
Number 5 Haruki Shiga and Sakura Yamauchi. I want to eat your pancreas.
When Haruki Shiga and Sakura Yamauchi first meet in the waiting room of a hospital, Haruki doesn't want anything to do with Sakura. In fact, he doesn't see the value of human connection of any kind. He soon learns Sakura has a terminal pancreatic illness. For this reason, he lets himself get dragged into doing some of the things she wants to do before she passes. Through this process, he starts to see the value of human connection, and she's able to have experiences she never would have had on her own. Things end abruptly, not because of Sakura's illness but because of a random stabbing attack. While it was clear that their time together was going to be brief, it didn't have to end like that.
Number 4 Jiraiya and Tsunade, Naruto.
Jiraiya and Tsunade started off as teammates. The two of them built a strong friendship through years of relying on each other in battle. After their teammate Orochimaru turned evil, the two of them were left feeling betrayed and confused, with only each other to rely on. Over time, their paths diverged. Though they felt some romantic inklings toward each other, they never got together. Maybe it was because both of them were too busy doing their own thing. Maybe it was because being together brought up too many painful memories. Or maybe it was because Tsunade found Jiraiya's lecherous behavior too annoying. Despite all that, they still cared about each other, and it's possible that they could have given romance a shot if not for Jiraiya's untimely demise.
Number 3 Hotaru and Jin, Hotarubi no Mori.
If you don't want to cry, don't watch Hotarubi no Mori. The film focuses on a girl named Hotaru who meets and falls in love with a forest spirit named Jin. The problem is that if Jin touches a human being, he will disappear forever. For this reason, the two try to deny their growing feelings for one another, but this eventually proves impossible. At the end of the movie, Jin finally confesses his love for Hotaru and kisses the mask she's wearing. But later on, as they're walking together, a human child nearly falls. Jin reaches out to help the child, not realizing he was human. He begins to disappear. While this allows Hotaru and Jin to embrace for the last time before Jin is gone forever, it also deprives them of a potential lifetime together.
Number 2 Kosei Arima and Kawori Miyazono, Your Lie in April.
Meeting Kawori turns Kosei's life upside down in the best way possible. No longer able to hear or play piano after losing his abusive mother to illness, he spends his days wallowing in sorrow. When he meets Kawori, a violinist whose passion for music is infectious, he starts to find pleasure in his life and in his art. The two are clearly on the verge of falling in love. Unfortunately, none of this can last. That's because Kawori is suffering from a potentially fatal illness, and ends up passing away during a surgery intended to treat it. It's hard to get any sadder than that.
Number 1 Sasha and Nikola, Attack on Titan.
Sasha and Nikola never definitively declared their love for one another, but for a lot of fans, it was a romance waiting to happen. At first, Nikola hated Sasha because he'd been trained from birth to see Eldians as monsters. But when Sasha praised his cooking to the heavens, he realized they shared something important: a love for food. He soon came to the conclusion that Eldians aren't much different from Marlians like himself, and realized that his true purpose was to make people of all races happy through food. If not for meeting Sasha, he might never have changed so radically. When Sasha was eliminated in battle, Nikola was devastated. While her demise is a tragedy either way, part of what was lost was their potential future together.
Referred to rank or com.